we go.
Ready, Brew?
Yep. And we're rolling. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John Brewer here, and I'm here with Brews with Brewer, another installment, and I have my great pleasure to introduce to you Miss Julia Ryman.
Reeman. I know, it's kind of...
And Kadeal.
Kadeal. You're getting there.
I always...
It's all right. It's all good. You got Julia right. That's it.
I got Julia.
Yeah, and you got my name right, and you didn't curse at me, so it's all good.
It's a work. I'm a work in progress. So Julia is the head, chairman, what is the actual position? Anyway, she runs the Miracle League with her husband Jeff, and they are doing a great job over there. The field is over in Delray Beach. It is Miller Park, which is right off of Linton.
Yep.
And that program's been going on for how long now?
We started in 05, but we really started playing in 07.
07.
And that field has been there since 2010.
Okay.
So, a long time.
So,
yeah.
Give us a story of how that started and...
So we say that when we started, well, first
of all, cheers.
I was going to say,
this is an IPA, Brews with Brewer. We are doing it the official way, not
delicious.
Coffee. We're doing beer. It's an
hour.
IPA.
I'm not. Jeff says if I'm not making the face, it's good. And I'm not making the face, so it's very.
What kind of beer do you
good.
Drink normally?
All different kinds.
Okay.
But it's delicious. She did a good job.
All right, thank you. So back to the subject. What got you involved with Miracle League? How did this happen?
Guys, so when people ask us how we got involved, so for anybody that doesn't know, Miracle League is a sports league, a baseball league, a softball league for children with special needs.
Right.
A lot of people ask how we got involved. We don't have children with special needs, and I say the short answer really is it's God-led for us. Yeah. The long answer is, Jeff and I are both coaches. I'm a health coach. He's coached sports in Delray for 20 years, and
okay, I got to stop you there because the first time I met Jeff, I have to say I wasn't very impressed. So here I am, this new dad, right? I got a stepson now. He's my boy. I don't refer to him as my stepson. My kid. I'm gung-ho dad and little league dad now, and Jeff is coaching his team, and it's like I'm back in Delray maybe a month at the most, and we pull up to the field, and it's like Saturday morning, and I don't know if Jeff was out the night before or whatever. He shows up a little late, and I'm like, the dad ready to go, and Jeff's just like, all right, Kai, get in there, blah, 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 and it's ironic that we're the best of friends now, because
you guys are the best of friends. I will tell you that's called Kadeal time. Okay, there's a special name for it. It's Kadeal time. He has come quite along. He's actually he is an amazing coach. He has grown over the years, and he's still
even during that season. I got to say that after that initial encounter, I saw his coaching technique of being very straight with the kids, very sarcastic, but very loving, and very technical in training kids. Especially when they're that age, you don't want to give them too much to chew on. So he was very good about just work on this. Just let's just work on this for now.
He's always been really great about coaching the child, coaching the person, and not just coaching to win. He's always wanted to develop the child or his player, or student. He's grown so much. He actually still volunteers at St. Vincent's coaching, and Jackson's not even there 2 years. He just loves it, and the kids want him to come back, and he gets so much out of it. He's
He's a good dude.
He's
anyway, let's get back to you, the important subject.
So,
back to Miracle League.
He coached in Delray. I'm a health coach and a cheerleading coach, and the boys were young.
Where? St. Vincent's?
I coached St. Vincent's and at Trinity.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for many years, and loved it, and it was great. So we have this coaching, mentoring with children, and so when we had the boys and we moved to Delray, we wanted to be positive parents, positive role models, give back to the community, and we're like, okay, how do we do that? So we did the normal thing when the kids were really young. We went to the soup kitchen, we did the Habitat for Humanity, we're like, but they were really young, and we figured, I don't know how we can kind of get them more on board, and what can we do together as a family. So we sat one night, and Jeff and I were watching Real Sports on HBO with Brian Gumpel, and we saw they were doing a Miracle League up in Atlanta. And Jeff and I looked at each other literally with tears in our eyes, and he turns around and looks at me and says, we have to do that.
Wow. And
I'm like, you're totally right. And I remember this was around Christmas time of 04. And now I know I'm the mouth, right? I'm the loudspeaker for Miracle League. You know, Jeff does the background.
For those who don't know, if
scenes.
you've never been to a Miracle League game, they're pretty cool. So my perception of what I thought Miracle League and what it actually is were two different things. You know, I thought we're going to be keeping score, batting order, blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's, a lot of these kids have different issues, and it's really just these kids having a chance to be the spotlight on them and to be able to run the bases with everybody there cheering them on. And that's what it's all about. It's all basically about the cheering. It's about the cheering, it's about the encouragement, it's about the making noise, and you are the announcer.
I am the announcer.
You are the announcer, so you're there for 3 hours straight.
Hence
with a
the
mic,
cheerleading coach.
with a mic around, or with one of those Janet Jackson style concert mics, and basically she has to fill up the games with comments.
Yeah.
You have to be the commentator for the whole game.
I hate it if you haven't noticed.
She's being sarcastic, of course.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but
so anyway, it was how can we do this? And a lot of people don't know. And again, I'm the one that goes out and I speak about it, and it's now by the grace of God become my full-time job. A lot of people don't know, though, it was really Jeff that is the one that called and made the appointment with the city, because it was very important for us if we were going to do this for our league and our field and our special needs baseball league to be amongst all of the other little leagues. We wanted all the kids to be the same. So we said that it was really important for our league to be amongst the other little leagues. So all the kids went to the ball field. A lot of people don't know it was Jeff that made the phone call to make the appointment for the city in January of 2005. He calls me and he says, hey, next week we have an appointment with the city. And I said, for what? He goes, that Miracle League thing we want to do. I went, oh, you made an appointment. Okay, that's great. That's great. So we went, we talked to the city. They were obviously on board. They said, please talk to the city commission. Jeff Perlman was mayor at the time. We showed the video that we saw that brought us to tears. When they turned the lights on at the city commission, there was not a dry eye, and they said, here's $10,000 seed money, go and build. And we went, oh shit, okay, I guess we have to do something. No. Yeah, and we were also at the time,
I think that's a great lesson for life, and I think, that's kind of, I just want to stop you there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know. But just because you don't know doesn't mean you need to stop.
It's true.
You're like, now you were like, okay, now we really got to figure this thing out.
A lot of life lessons. This has been obviously a life changer for me and my family. All of it. From soup to nuts. From becoming best of friends to meeting incredible families. We even said when we first started, if we never even got it off the ground, we have just met the incredible people. Hence why I say now when people ask me, how did you get involved? It's really been God-led, because the people that have come into our world and our life have been nothing short of amazing and have taught us so much about life that it's, for us, Miracle League is not just baseball. No. It's not a Saturday for us at the ball field. It's life for us. Yeah. It's my blood. It's, as you know, it's amazing. Yep.
So here you are, $10,000. City says go do it. You and Jeff are like, I guess we got to do this now.
Yeah. And so in spirituality, we're not like, oh, we're going to go do good deeds, and now we're going to go tell everybody we're going to do good deeds. And so we're like, okay, well, how are we going to do this quietly and not tell everybody what we're doing? Right? Because we don't want people to know, like, you're doing something good for a living or, in life. Or so if you went to the soup kitchen, you're not going to go, hey, I just went to the soup kitchen. That's not who we were. But after a while, it had to be who we were if we were going to create awareness and create dollars.
You got a brand.
And it was, but that wasn't it for us. It
Right.
wasn't.
That's not why
we did it.
Right.
You know, and so that was hard for us to talk about it. We didn't want people to go, "Oh, you're doing such a great job. Thank you, really appreciate it." That's not why we're doing it. And you know, then asking people for money, that was also hard.
Yeah.
You know, I have a sales background, but I wasn't taught how to raise dollars for a special, you know, funding. So it was difficult for us. So it took a lot for us to voice it and get it out there. It was a lot, and you know, social media was not big back then. You know, we're still just figuring it out. And by the way, 3 kids. I was working 3 jobs. Jeff had jobs. So when we first started this was, you know, raising the dollars and creating awareness, and all the meetings were our side time together. Right. But over the years, the great thing is that for him and I, it has brought us obviously closer together as a couple. You know, same common theme, life goals, and so forth. So raised some dollars and a lot of bake sales and car washes and you name it, home run derbies. We had great volunteers. We still have great volunteers. And we were almost there. We needed to raise $500,000. And as we're raising the dollars and we're creating awareness, the people at Bucky Dent at the time, they have a small infield. And they said, "Hey, well, you guys are raising dollars to get your field. Come use our infield." So when that was in 2007. Mm-hmm. And so
that was a Bucky Dent field.
That was a Bucky Dent
field. I always wondered whether that was part of the Little League, the city, or Bucky Dent.
I don't know how all that works, but it was Bucky Dent as far as I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the funny thing is now we have no idea what we're doing. No idea what we're doing.
Nothing.
Never did a nonprofit before in our entire lives. Raised dollars for it, nothing. We don't have kids with special needs. So we have no idea what we're doing. We put it all out there. First game. We get to the field. Game's supposed to start at 2:00. 1:30. There's nobody there. It's like our families are there because they're so excited.
Right.
But there's nobody there. 1:40. Now you know our families. They show up late. I'm really sorry, people, but they do. They show up late. If the game is at 2, you're a coach, right? If a game is at 2, you're supposed to be there at 1 and practice for an hour. No, these families. If our game's at 2, they show up at 2:15. Anyway, so 2:00 is our game time. 1:45, we start getting a few people showing up, and Jeff and I look at each other. We're like, "What the hell? We completely missed the mark. We don't know what we're doing. We should never do this again, and we think we totally screwed up."
Wow.
Come 2:10, 2:15, families start coming, and we're like, "Oh, thank God." We sat there. Glasses on. We cried the whole entire time. We cried the whole entire. We had no clue. We had no idea what we were in for. We thought here we were giving back. We're giving back. No. What these families have taught us.
Right.
And then I remember we went out that one night, that particular night, just the 5 of us, you know, with the boys, and we said, "So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think?" And Jeff and I are bawling and we're crying. We're like, "Oh my God, we didn't even expect any of that." And my oldest son, Connor, is so cute. And he goes, "This is just what we do." I'm like, blah, 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 like all over it. I'm like, "Okay, this is just what we do." And that was our first game. It was kind of freaky. Yeah. But it's been a lot of life lessons, like I said, a lot of learning.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
And here we are over a decade later.
Yeah.
2005, 2007. Yeah. So 15 years. We got involved, just to give you our story. Wife and I, Little League again. He's been playing like 3 years, and we had been working with like an animal shelter, and I think they went under or whatever. But like Diane and I were like, we're looking to get involved, and you guys grabbed us one day and we're like, "Listen, we're short. Can you help us out? We have volunteers." So the way it works is every player gets a volunteer. They have a buddy, right? You have a buddy, and so your deal is to work with these particular kids, and you know it's a process. So you may certain kids can be difficult, you know, with some of their issues that they're dealing with, and certain kids it's different every time. So we went over there, and wife and I got hooked right away. We walked away, and we were just like, we were like, okay, well, this is it. This is going to be our volunteer thing. This is going to be our way to give back and help with that. But I'll be honest with you, I was intimidated. I really was, working with some of these kids who have different issues. They can be very frank with you, and they'll let you know how they feel,
Yes.
So.
Yes, as you know, for sure.
Ethan told me I was ugly one time.
He tells Jeff, he goes, "You get away, this is my wife."
Yeah, exactly.
This is my wife. And he tells everybody, "Jackson's our son." And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's a lot. Another thing that I find, and I think that you'll appreciate, when we first started, again, not living in the special needs world, the parents would send in their registration form, right? And then we kind of took that registration from what the national was doing, right? So on there it says, okay, what's the nature of the disability? Well, I didn't know any of it. I didn't know what any of it meant. So here I am, literally the night before. So I'm trying to pair up a buddy with a player. Okay, 7 years old. Maybe how about a 10-year-old with a 7-year-old? Well, what's his disability, right? Autism. 14, 15 years ago, I'm like, oh, well, what's autism? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I would look up this, and then I would look up, and I'm trying to pair that up. And then when I got there, I went, oh, hell no. I had no idea there was this spectrum. And there was I didn't know any of the names. And the truth is that here I was thinking, and I'm going to cry, I was judging it. I want to say the word judging because I'm looking at the name of their disability and I'm Googling what their disability is.
Right.
And that so does not define that child
Right.
at all. It just is not that child at all. And after a while, I don't give a shit what their disability is because you could say one thing and it's totally, completely different. And I am who I am. Just because I'm a woman, there's just so much. It doesn't just define who I am. And I put that on there because I think legally at this point I might need to. I never look at what their disability is. I don't care because
Right.
it does not define who they are. And you can never in a million years try and get that out from a piece of paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's humbled me a lot. I think my family and I, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. So that was one thing that I learned for sure. And it is intimidating, but when you look at it, what I try and tell people is I want everybody to enjoy the experience, right? So if you have somebody that you're paired up with, if you want to volunteer as a buddy, I want it to be a good experience for everybody. So if you're not comfortable, if you're not jiving with that kid, as friends do, if we don't jive, guess what? Just tell me. We'll switch you up with somebody else. You don't have to hang out with that person.
Yeah.
We want all. If you're not having fun, guess what? That kid's not having fun either.
Exactly.
And it's been great. And a lot of the great things too is being amongst all the little leagues is those kids are coming up and they're watching.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, how do we be a part of this? We want to help. We want to do that. And if they're young, I put them on the sideline. So at least to high five them when they're coming around the bases.
Yeah.
These are kids that never would have thought their parents, right? So you get pregnant, you find out you're having a daughter. Oh, she's going to be a ballerina. Oh, I'm going to have a ball player. I'm having a boy. He's going to be a football player. And then you don't really realize that now you're having a child with special needs. And these families go through a mourning. That's never going to happen. And they really realize, oh, my kid's never going to play baseball. My kid's never going to play football. And here they are. We're going to teach you. Yes, they can do that.
Yeah.
And so a great thing about Jeff and a story that I tell once in a blue moon is that there was this kid that came, Michael. Michael had no use of any of his limbs. Again, I don't know what his disability is, don't really care, but Michael was nonverbal and had very, very limited use of his arms. He was in a wheelchair. And his father came and he said, he goes, I've heard about this. He says, well, I don't think my son can play. And Jeff said, of course he can.
Yeah.
Get a hat, get a shirt, let's go. And my husband sat there every single game and put the ball in his hand. He said, Michael, throw it to me for a whole week. Throw it to me. At the end of the season, Jeff called out the father. He said, come here. He says, Michael, throw me the ball. And he held the ball and he dropped it. Jeff said, no. I said, throw me the ball. Gave him back the ball and put it in his hand. Just throw me the ball. Dropped it. He said, we're going to do this again. Show Dad that you could throw the ball. I picked the ball up, put it in his hand, and he threw the ball like 3 feet. And the father sat there and cried. And he said, I would have never thought I could play catch with my son. That's what we give.
Those, now it's my turn.
It's emotional.
Those are the moments that, you know, no matter how hot it is out, or you go down there, you know, you got 3 things you wanted to do or no matter, you walk away, every single experience, every game that I've been, I always walk away and I'm like, all right, what moment was it for you, honey? Yeah. And I was like, it was the moment when, I'm having a brain right now, who my wife works with.
Brianna.
When Brianna got up and ran the bases.
Oh my gosh.
You know, here's somebody who's confined to a wheelchair most of her, and the last game of the season, she's like, no, carry me, whatever you got to do. Yeah. And we held her by her elbows, and she made it around the base paths, and the determination on her face, and then the cheer at the end, and just, you get at least 5 of those a day. Yeah, you know, where somebody does something, whether it's Jose sliding into the home plate every time, you know, him with his letting go of the walker.
That's the best.
And just, you know, with the braces on and going around the bases. And if you could check my feed. I've got tons of games, and I'm going to post some stuff too while we're talking right now about it. And you'll see some of the pictures of the kids and what they do, and just the enjoyment that they get out of it. It's their little time to be in the spotlight. And for baseball, like you said, these dads and like that, I never even really thought about that morning period. But yeah, I mean, that's just, here we go. All right. Knew it was going to happen eventually. The Amazon man must be here.
That was, okay, get out of the sappy moment.
Yeah, get out of the sappy moment.
I was out of the sappy moment. But it's true. It is, I'm going to get comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's, you know, the other thing too is that it's a break for the parents. Yeah. You know, they get to sit and do this. How many times you sit at a ball game and you watch Kai play, and you're sitting here talking to the parents and, hey, how was your weekend? Those parents don't get to do that. Right. This is the chance that mom and dad get to sit and hang out with their friends.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, so.
And that's what you see a lot of the parents. They get a little break, and they're in the stands, and they get to be spectators. Yeah. You know, someone else is you know, with the kid running him around the bases and everything, and you see the parents start to talk to each other.
Absolutely. And then they make friends, and it becomes a resource. Then they ask, hey, what are you guys doing next? Like, what's after baseball? And there's a lot that goes on with that. And you brought up a great point. I tell everybody, you have a crappy day, you have a shitty week, come out, and this will put life in perspective. Right. I mean, it puts my life in perspective. Hi, guys. Was that Amazon?
They've been, you know, I got to say, they're usually pretty good, but it must be you, because they're just loving on you, and they're all excited. Normally, they're laying down on the couch by now, but we'll get through this. That's why I keep the mics here, because it usually drowns out a lot of their sound and keeps us going. So what are the future plans for Miracle League right now? What's going on as far as the next step?
Well, a lot. We're growing and expanding.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
We're in the middle of redoing our field, because the field, for those of you guys who don't know, with wheelchairs and walkers, the field is made out of recycled rubber. 10 years in the Florida sun killed that. Yeah. And then you got a couple dinner on the diamonds with some tents on it. You know, so we're in the middle of, it's all pulled up now. We're putting in new field. I'm hoping to get a new video scoreboard, talking with the city about, hopefully we get to do that. And we broke ground in Palm Beach Gardens. So we're gonna have a field up in North County. So we'll have a field in North County and South County. Wow. So the other thing I didn't think of too is, you know, I have kids, and my boys, actually, they get in the car and they fall asleep, you know. Again, I don't have children with special needs. There's a huge population of special needs families in North County. And they, you know, I'm like, why don't you come down to Delray? And I go, I don't want to put my kid in the car that they're not going to last that long for a half hour, 45-minute drive, and then play, and then go back in the car, like, you know, especially a child with, you know, autism, it's not happening. And then, you know, the wheelchairs, so they said, please come to North County. And so it's been a dream of mine for, gosh, probably about 5 years. And I've been talking with a few people, and just at the right timing, and we met the people from director of Parks and Rec up in Palm Beach Gardens. They came down, as most people do. They saw a game, cried, we have to have this. And the most awesome thing is that, you know, when we talked about doing the field, and I said, okay, how much do I need to raise? It's going to cost me about $500,000. I know that. Let me know. I'll start bake sales now. And they said, well, we have about a quarter of it, or half of it. So they were going to raise about $250,000. I said, okay, so I've got $250,000 to raise. And they said yes. And then about a month ago, they called us and said, you know, we really don't want to wait. And we talked to the city commission, and we have all the money. We're just going to build the field.
Holy moly.
Yeah. They're like, you just come up with the dollars and the people to volunteer, the dollars for the program, the sponsors, the insurance, you know, because all that does cost dollars. But so, yeah, I mean, it's $500,000 off that shoulder. And I'm so really excited. I'm going to be very busy.
Right.
I plan on running both leagues.
Oh, wow.
For about a year. My goal is, you know, we got a lot of great feedback from our families down here, and they're, you know, always giving me great tips. They love the energy, they love everything. So I want to make sure that North County is exactly the same and ran the same way as Delray, so the parents know what to expect. If they go to one's not different than the other. This is the way Miracle League of Palm Beach County is ran, period. And then, you know, if we get a couple extra dollars, hopefully we can hire somebody part-time and then run North County. Or there's no or. That's just what's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's just what's going to happen.
No ors.
There's no ors. Yeah. When I get something in my mind,
Or
I'm gonna do it. It's how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
There you
for
go.
sure. Yeah.
And that's what we love about you. Let's shift gears a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
And get into like Delray Beach, and if you guys didn't know, we're actually very good friends. We entertain each other. We have each other over the house. She's got boys that are a little older, so we've kind of leaned on them for helpful advice. What kind of advice do you have for people that are bringing up kids? I just find that you guys come up with such gems, and you know, I'm going with a teenage boy right now, and you've raised a few. Any sage words that you have, or
don't do it. Turn around. Oh my gosh, there's so many things going through my. I mean, is this PG? Is this R? Is this what is this?
It's PG. PG. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question there, John.
NC-17.
Yeah. So with raising boys, especially, you know what? Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah. That's the one thing I've learned. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to correct something in one day, it's not going to happen.
You know, the funny thing is that, so my oldest and my youngest are 9.5 years apart, right? So I was a different parent for Connor than I was with Jackson. And I think when I went to life coaching school, that's also changed me a lot. Age has changed me a lot. Miracle League has changed me a lot. And I think there's a few things. Jeff and I have never really kind of lost sight of ourselves. We've always we've made family a number one priority. Like our family and family time, hence why we started Miracle League, was you know, doing something and being good together, being good parents and showing what a good couple looks like was also very important to us. Communicating was big. You know, obviously Jeff and I would have arguments, but we made sure we would never really fight in front of the kids. That was important for us. We always presented as a united front. We never, my kids might beg to differ, but we tried really hard to present as a united front, even though if we thought differently, we would say, so neither one of our boys, or either one of our boys, I should say, said, well, go ask mom or go ask dad, because we tried to stay on one page. You know, even maybe behind doors we weren't on the same page, but to our child we were on the same page.
That's great advice. I'm not so sure we followed that, but I definitely understand where that's coming from. You know, as far as, and some people may look at that as being not totally honest with their kids, but I think that's not the case at all. You know, like you need to present yourself like a united front. Absolutely. You're
Well,
the mom and the dad. You're one unit.
Yeah, that was important for us. I also come from like old school where, you know, the spouse comes first, you know, because in the beginning of the relationship it's, you know, spouse, and at the end and the kids grow up, it becomes spouse. Right. We wanted to make sure that we taught the kids what a good man looks like and what a good woman or a good wife or a good mom looks like. I mean, first of all, we're 0% perfect.
Right.
We make mistakes all the time,
Right.
and I think that you have to forgive yourself when you make mistakes. I think you need to, which has helped me become, I think, a little bit of a better parent with Jackson, is I've owned, or I try to own any mistakes that I make. So if I fly off the handle, I will come back and I will apologize. Because that was something I didn't do with Connor. Like, I would always just say, well, I'm the mom and that's what I said. And, you know, sometimes I really just want you to sit down and talk to them like they're human beings. You know, they're teenagers. They're adult.
Yeah.
They're not adults, but they are adults. You're raising an adult.
Right.
You know, even though they're a child, you're still raising an adult. So if you talk to them as a human being, I've learned that, you know, Jackson and I are communicating a lot more.
It's funny you say that, because it's the same dynamic I'm trying to go through, that I am going through right now with our son. And I found myself just being a drill sergeant. I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
But then you kind of swing towards the total libertarian, laissez-faire, doing whatever you want. But then you find it.
No, I think kids want boundaries. They need boundaries. They like boundaries.
They need boundaries. Yeah.
For sure. The other thing that again, I'm the mom, right? So I'm a girl, boy. You know, they had that more sports theme with Jeff than with me. So I had to find a common ground with them, especially in high school, because high school's, you know, where they're all very moody. Music was important for us. You know, when I was with the kids in the car, so we found, you know, I would hate to listen to any of their music, but I pretended I liked it anyway. You know, I tried to find that common theme. I got another one for you.
I'm laughing because I know the drill. You try.
Yeah. The other thing is, let them do their own laundry. Let them do their own laundry.
Interesting.
Yeah, I learned that lesson raising boys. Let them do their own laundry, and let them pick a night to make you a meal. You know, decide what you want. You know, we're again, for us, we're raising adults. There are adults, so we want them to, you know, once they go off to college, they're gone. Yeah. You know, they come home, but high school, I think, is the most important part, where you try and teach them to, you know, a little bit go on their own, and they're going to screw up. And when you're screw up, you make sure that there is a soft landing. You love them up, and then you can. I've also learned when they fall, I used to go, well, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? I'm starting to learn. I take a breath. I wait a day, maybe two, and then I become the parent. You know, because again, they know when they screw up. You know, they know when they screw up, and they don't need to be told right away that they've screwed up. Right. You know, because it's, you know, it's this. I want them to be able to come to me. I'm learning. I'm still learning. Sure. So, I mean, thank you for the compliment, but I am still learning. I think it's always just learning. You know.
So you and Jeff got married young.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And how many years is it now?
This year will be 29.
And this was in Delray?
No, we married in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl.
You guys are both from Jersey? I'm learning something new.
So I know
you're from Jersey. Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey. Jeff is from Delaware. He went to college in Michigan, but when he graduated, his mom moved to New Jersey, and so he moved back by mom. And then he got a job working for my dad. So basically, it was a quiet office romance. We don't want anybody to know that he was dating the boss's daughter. So we hit, is it R-rated, PG?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we hid a lot of our relationship. Like the floor underneath us was empty, so we'd go and hide down there. We would stop the elevator, you know, like we had to do everything so nobody would go back and tell my dad, that I'm dating one of the guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
like you leave 5 minutes before I leave.
yeah, oh, for sure, yeah. And I thought my father would kill me that I was dating somebody from the office, and Jeff was a catch too, and I didn't want the girls to know I was dating him either.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know he really wanted to date me. So there's a little bit more of a backstory. That's like after hours drinks. But
okay.
yeah.
All right, yeah.
But I didn't know he really wanted to date me.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry with these dogs. Hold on one second. Hey!
Amazon, what's for me?
Oh my goodness, it's like the one time. They're out.
It's all right.
Yeah. So sorry about that. Anyway, go ahead.
Did Amazon get more packages?
No, I think it was one of our friends from the Elks just dropped by. I don't know what's going on.
So, yeah,
So you guys hid your little romance for a while. And
yeah, I thought.
What brought you to Delray Beach?
Our family. So actually, it's another funny story. My dad, Jeff's family, mom and stepfather were retiring down here, and my parents wanted to retire down here. My dad did, and Jeff wanted to move back to Michigan. And I lived in New Jersey my whole life, and I said, just get me the hell out of here. I just, I want to be free. I'm married. I was pregnant with Connor. I just want to get out.
Yeah.
And my dad, old school Italian, there was no way Jeff was bringing his baby girl to Michigan. So my dad had a vacation house in Boca, and so he told Jeff, he said, listen, I will pay for 1 month you guys go live in Boca. I'll pay for, because he was working for my dad, and I work for my dad. So he's like, I'll pay for a whole month. You guys go live in Boca for a month. And after a month, if you don't like it, you can go live wherever you want. My blessing. I think it was like 3 weeks later, Jeff put the house on the market, and he said, all right, we're moving to Boca. We're moving to Florida. And my father was like, yes. Yeah. And actually, the funny thing is, too, about the whole thing in Delray, it was right over, the name is escaping me, but it was kind of right over the Delray-Boca border where my dad's house was.
Okay.
Our vacation house. And whenever I go out, because I'd come down here as a teenager with my friends, my father would always tell me, you want to go up to West Palm? Do not drive through Delray. Do not drive through Delray. You want to go? Don't take Federal, take 95. So when we moved down here, we got an apartment in Boca, and Jeff and my dad were in business together. They owned a mortgage company together.
Right.
And so they were looking for an office, and he comes home and he finds his place in Delray, and I said, you're not allowed to go to Delray. That's taboo. You can't go to Delray. No, you gotta go. So then he worked in Delray for quite some time. His office was right near where De Niro's was, right next door. I forgot what it is now. It's a cafe or something, I think. Over the Bridge Cafe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was what it was. It was his office. And when it started to go well and everything was doing well, and we were looking for a house to live, Jeff says, I want to live in Delray. I said, you're out of your mind. My father would never let me move to Delray. And my dad came over one day and he said, no, I think it's up and coming. I think you can go to Delray. And I said, you raised me my whole life like I can't go to Delray.
Yeah.
And now you want me to live in Delray?
Yeah.
And so it's funny, we live in Lake Ida. Well, not historical, we live in Delray Lakes. And my dad, we were looking for places in here in the historic area. And we found this adorable little home. It was so cute. Small little spot. If I had bought it now, I'd be a millionaire. So mad we didn't buy that house. And the house across the street, which was on the lake, I can't believe we didn't buy this house. So my father was like, you guys are out of your mind. And Jeff was, all right, I'm done with your dad. Like, I am not listening to your dad anymore. We're buying this house. And we put a $500 deposit on the house. And my father, he went down to Delray Lakes. There were no homes. The old homes, there's like 4 or 5 homes in Delray Lakes that are old. They had not broken ground yet. And my dad calls and says, I found you a lot. I found you your home and where you're going to live. And Jeff says, if you go over there, this is not happening. He was so mad. I'm the man of this is where we're going to live, and da-da-da. And so I said, just listen, just go look at it. Just go look at it. And then we looked at where we live now. Of course, we fell in love with it because we live on the point. We live on the canal of Lake Ida. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
And I would have been a millionaire though. That property, I'm sure, for now is easy $1 million.
Right.
But we love where we live, and we're there. Gosh, 21, almost 22 years.
Right.
Yeah. So it's.
Yeah. And that area, so Delray Lakes is part of Lake Ida, and that area, I mean, Jeff Perlman lives there,
Yeah.
Bill Bathurst lives there, Ian Patterson. It's got some of like the creme de la creme of Delray. It's great trees, mature. You got the oaks.
Beautiful
right?
trees, but they suck for driveways and sidewalks.
Oh, it's just gonna, yeah, I could tell when you started cringing. I bet here's gonna be the whole thing about the acorns dropping on the cars.
Actually, I don't mind that so much because again, I'm from New Jersey, so
Yeah.
that whole foliage thing doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. It's the cracked driveways, and then you have to.
Oh, because of the roots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and then you have, unfortunately, an
Adds
HOA,
character.
which I'm not.
Oh,
like
HOA.
that's,
Yeah.
you-
But it's
you
not
know?
bad. Your HOA is like under 300, right?
You're talking dollars. I don't care about the dollars. I'm talking about action.
Oh, dealing
I'm just
with.
dealing with.
Oh, you can't put that there.
I'm not a big fan of somebody telling me what to do, what
That,
not to do.
yeah. That's
So-
the one thing about HOAs. Like,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
some people who get on those boards, they start to.
Yeah.
It's.
I
turns
was
into
on the
Game of
board.
Thrones.
Jeff was on the board, and for a very short period of time, and it was you can totally ask him about that. I was on the board, but I was only, if you know me, I was on the social committee board. My sister lived in there. So what happened was actually I bought the point in Delray Lakes, and my sister bought the property that overlooked the whole lake. So my sister and I actually bought in there together. And the greatest thing were that we were the first two houses that were built. They originally did not want to build my house because they said, no, we're not building that street first. My father said to them, well, then we're not buying two houses. And there were a lot of things my father did about my house. So
Jeff was just thrilled about all of
he
it.
did. He loved my dad. He loved my
Yeah,
dad. So
yeah.
it was great because there were no houses in between us.
Okay.
So I would send the kids off to my sisters, and I could totally see. And
Yeah.
now there's a tennis court in our view, and all the other houses. But it's a great neighborhood. It's a great community.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love
It
all
really
of my
is.
neighbors that you just mentioned. There's not one time that if we don't need something, if we're not looking out for each other, it is a nice neighborhood. And I love that we're so close. To be honest with you, it's amazing how the 22 years, would not be able to afford my house now. I love my house. I love our town. I love that we scoot into town, hate the parking, so now we do scooters, so it's easy parking. Thank you for scooter parking. It's amazingly grown 22 years. Wow.
Yeah. So let's wrap up on that kind of. Where do you see Delray now? Are you happy with the way things are going? And then where do you see Delray going in the future?
Oh God, I don't know. I love that it's grown. I sometimes I wish maybe not so much. I miss the little village by the sea. I sit on the fence. Do I love that people want to come to Delray? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great spot. Don't get me wrong. As a local, sometimes it's like get the hell out of my town.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the people here. We've met the most amazing people. Where do I see it going? I hope we stop on allowing any more people to move in. I know Florida is now like the #1 state. Everybody's like, don't come to Delray, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I love it. I just for me personally, there's that small town character that I think that we're starting to elbow out of, and I think that part is is the charm. I sit on the fence with was and is.
Right.
Right. I don't know. Are we still that charm? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting period that we're going through. Actually today I posted a Facebook Live, and there was a house on the corner of 2nd and 9th, and it was a double lot, 21,000 square feet, and all my friends, Eric Cody and all these people I went to high school with, Jack Adams, and all these people, when I posted it, they were like, that's this home.
Yeah.
And yeah, they knocked it down.
Wow.
And it's going to get turned into 2 homes. So it's 21,000 square foot corner lot. The guy had pineapples growing in his front yard, all these beautiful banyan trees, which thank God they kept.
Right.
They're going to try to work around them. But yeah, so now it's going to be, they knocked it down and they're going to turn it into 2 lots. So now you're going to get 2 homes in there, and most likely it's going to be 2-story, 2,500 square foot, $1.6 million. You know, squeeze as much house as you can.
When do you see like enough is enough? Like when do you say, you know, we don't want to be Miami, we don't want to be like, you know, Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale. Like this is why we became like the, you know, on the map, is because of our cute village by the sea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like we're losing that?
Yeah, I think we are. I think that the word's out about Delray. I mean, we've got, you know, the Ray and what those guys are doing, and not that I'm not a fan of it. I am, but it's, you know, it's kind of like once the genie gets out of the bottle, how do you get it back in again? You know, for so long we were courting this, and what's the old saying? Be careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
Yeah.
And just because it's not the way that you want it doesn't mean necessarily that you get to say. So Bill and I were talking about that, and it is. It's so how do you cap the architecture? How do you cap what can be built on a property? How can you tell somebody? You know, and I guess the one way to do it is to come up with LDRs or stuff that you put. You know, it's one thing to think it. It's another thing when you actually have to put it into law or put it into regulation. So the main thing I think is that you need to be able to tell somebody, hey, you can buy that property and knock down that house, but you can only, you know, to keep with the character of the neighborhood, you can only do so much.
Agreed.
And I don't know if the answer is setbacks or whether it's square footage.
Yeah.
I'm not that well versed like Bill and some of the others in the LDRs and how you can get government to actually regulate. And I'm a big fan of regulating the least, but at the same time, I agree. I think we are losing a lot of the character, especially here, this neighborhood in Lake Ida. I mean, our block, thank goodness, is still kept intact. But you know, not you go down to 18th Street, you've got 6 homes that are either being remodeled or they've been scraped and knocked down. The one home that just hit the market was $3.2 million.
That's insane.
3,200 square feet.
Wow.
And it's on like a 10,000 square foot lot, you know? So what's the answer? I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know, we got a lot of people that have come into town that are making money that are not necessarily locals, but you know, you don't want to be that kind of guy, but at the same time, it's like, okay, what?
You want to be that kind of guy, but sometimes you just want to be that kind of guy. You love, listen, you're like, this is Delray, right? It's like, it's home. It's neighborly. You know, it's a little beach town, a little surf town. This is who we are. And I think you've got, you know, my neighbors are great. I've got one guy who lives next to me. They're here 6 months out of the year. It's like,
right.
You know, and we've now gotten to a point, I don't know about you, Jeff and I will almost never go out to the Avenue during season.
Yeah.
You know, we love the Avenue, but it's insane. It's totally nuts. So now we only go out like during the summer months, or, you know, we'll have more parties at home or go to people's houses. Yeah. But you're right. You know, be afraid of what you wish for.
Yeah.
I love it though. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'll probably be here till I'm dead. But
well, that's what's great about having the great houses that we do. We just turn our houses into bars and restaurants.
Cheers.
So maybe that's a good note to close on. Everybody, Julia Kadeal.
You said it right.
Did I?
Well, Kadeal.
Kadeal. Julia Kadeal. Stress on the first syllable. Miracle League. Great person. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sweet.
I really appreciate it.
Oh,
cheers.
Love you.
Love you too. All right, salute everybody. Take care.